My brother's best friend made me a deal. We can kiss, but no feelings allowed. Prologue. The kisses we shouldn't have. His lips taste like trouble. Warm, hurried, reckless. We shouldn't be here. Not in this empty classroom, not with his hands tangled in my hair, not with the door unlocked. But rules stopped mattering 3 days ago. You're going to get us caught, Ryan murmurs against my lips. Then stop, I breathe. He hesitates for half a heartbeat, eyes flicking down to my mouth again. Can't. 3 days. 3 stolen days of stairwell kisses, dark hallways, and pretending no one could see us. 3 days of him whispering my name like a secret he both hated and craved. Every time I tell myself this is the last one, he pulls me back. A touch on my wrist, a look across the lecture hall, a grin that says you're mine, even if we can't say it out loud. And I let him. Because how do you resist the boy you've loved since you were 13, when he finally starts loving you back? The rain kept falling that night, the sound of thunder drowning out everything I shouldn't have done. I used to think moments like that just happened, but the truth is, it started long before that kiss. A month ago, before the party, before the rules, before I realized Ryan Park would be the one mistake I'd never want to forget. Chapter 1. The Reunion. I hadn't seen Ryan Park in almost 2 years. My brother's best friend, my first heartbreak, my teenage obsession. He shows up on move-in day, helping Leo Anderson, my brother, carry my boxes into the dorm hallway. Same lazy grin, same devil-may-care confidence. But when his eyes land on me this time, they linger just a little too long. I tell myself I'm imagining it. I have to be. When I was 13, I used to peek from the kitchen doorway, watching him and Leo play video games, my heart racing every time he laughed. He used to call me kid, ruffle my hair, and steal the last slice of pizza while smiling at me like I was just another little sister. Now, standing here with sweat glistening on his forearm and that grin tugging at his mouth, I know I'm not a little sister anymore. But he doesn't know that. Not yet. Still packing pink notebooks, huh? He teases, glancing at the box labeled Leah's stuff in purple ink. I roll my eyes. It's called color coordination. Leo snorts, tossing another bag onto the bed. Don't bother, man. My sister organizes stress for fun. Ryan chuckles. Good to know nothing's changed at the Anderson house, except everything has. We head out for dinner later, the 3 of us crammed into Leo's beat-up car. The air smells like new beginnings and leftover fast food. Leo brags about me getting into the same university, slapping Ryan's shoulder. You'll see her around. Keep her out of trouble for me. Ryan smirks. Great. Now I have to babysit 2 Anderson kids. I fold my arms, glaring. I don't need a babysitter. I've grown up. The teasing grin falters. Just for a second. His gaze flickers over me, unreadable. Then it's gone. Yeah? We'll see about that. That night, I can't sleep. The new dorm feels too quiet, too unfamiliar. I slip into the hallway for some air, and he's there, leaning against the wall, scrolling through his phone. The light flickers, catching on his profile. When he looks up, his eyes meet mine. You look different, Leah, he says softly, sliding his hands into his pockets. I smile. You too. But you were always trouble. For a moment, the world feels suspended. No laughter, no noise, just his steady breath and the faint hum of the lights. He steps closer, close enough that I can smell his cologne. Clean, sharp, familiar. Get some sleep, he murmurs, voice low. Big first day tomorrow. I nod, though I can't move. My pulse is a drum. When he turns to leave, something in his eyes lingers. That same flicker from earlier, the one I can't quite name. And in that heartbeat, I realize something dangerous. I might have grown up, but around Ryan Park, I still feel 13 again. Breathless, foolish, and completely his. Chapter 2. The Party. The bass shook the floor hard enough to vibrate through my shoes. Flashing lights cut across faces I didn't know. All laughter, glitter, and heat. Leo was already deep in conversation with someone from his program, one arm slung around a drink and the other gesturing animatedly. I trailed behind him like a shadow, smiling at people I'd forget in 5 minutes, pretending I wasn't overwhelmed. Then I saw him, Ryan Park, leaning against the bar like he owned the night, a drink in his hand, a lazy grin curving his mouth, and a half circle of girls orbiting around him. He looked at ease, confident, untouchable, the way he always did. I hated that I noticed how the light caught the curve of his jaw, how his laugh carried even over the music. He still laughed the same way he did when I was 13, head thrown back, careless and beautiful. But now, people actually looked back. A brunette touched his arm and said something that made him grin wider. She wasn't even subtle about it, and he didn't pull away. Something hot and sharp bloomed in my chest. So I laughed too loudly, at something a stranger beside me said, pretending I wasn't staring, pretending it didn't matter. Maybe this was how I'd finally let him go. Maybe tonight I'd stop being the girl who dreamed he'd ever look my way. I smiled, the kind that hurt your face when your heart's breaking underneath. How do you let go of someone you never had? The night blurred with music and heat until my throat felt dry. I found a quieter corner near the back table, nursing a drink I barely touched. That's when he slid next to me, tall, confident, older, a senior probably. Leo's sister, right? His voice was smooth, too practiced. Didn't know he had such a pretty one. I stiffened. Yeah, I'm Leah. He leaned closer, close enough that his cologne burned the air. You don't look like a freshman. I forced a laugh that didn't reach my eyes. And you don't look like someone who cares. He chuckled, setting his cup beside mine, his hand inching toward my arm. Then, warmth, a solid presence beside me, a familiar scent. Ryan. His arm slid around my shoulders, possessive, casual, but his voice was anything but. She's taken. The senior blinked, awkwardly pulling back. Oh, didn't realize. I turned, heat crawling up my neck. By who? Ryan hesitated just long enough for the moment to twist tight between us. By common sense, he said finally. The guy laughed awkwardly and walked off. Ryan's hand lingered a second too long before falling away. I didn't need rescuing, I said, crossing my arms. He tilted his head, mouth curling. Didn't look like you minded it. I met his gaze squarely. You don't get to care, Ryan. You never did. The teasing fell from his face. He blinked, like the words actually hit him. For a second, he just stood there, unsure what to do with the version of me who didn't giggle and blush, the one who could burn him right back. I walked away first. My heart was pounding so hard it hurt. He'd forget this in an hour, but I'd remember it for the rest of the night. Leo was too drunk to drive. I found him slumped in the back seat, head lolled against the window, softly snoring. Ryan had the keys. The rain started as a drizzle, tapping gently against the windshield. Streetlights flashed across his face, half shadow, half gold. Neither of us spoke at first. The silence felt heavier than the car itself. You didn't have to save me, I said finally, voice barely above the hum of the engine. He didn't look at me. Didn't do it for you. Lie. Even in the dim light, I could see his jaw tighten, his hands flex on the steering wheel. After a while, he said, quieter this time, you seem popular already. I'm not interested in them, I said. No, why not? I stared out the window, watching the rain streak down. Because I want my first kiss. With someone I trust. His grip on the wheel stilled. And who's that? My chest tightened. You. For a moment, there was only the sound of the rain and the steady rhythm of the wipers. 1, 2, before he turned them off entirely. The silence that followed was deafening. He didn't answer, didn't look at me, just pressed the gas harder, as if distance could erase what I'd just said. My heart thudded in my throat. I turned my face toward the window, pretending not to notice how rigid his shoulders were. He was still out of my league. Too untouchable, too careful. But for one breathless second, I made him stop breathing, and that felt like victory enough. Chapter 3. The Confession and the Rain. By the time we reach home, Leo is out cold in the back seat, snoring softly, head against the window. He smells like cheap beer and bad decisions. Ryan kills the engine and turns off the headlights. Rain patters softly against the hood, each drop sharp in the quiet. "Thanks for driving," I murmur, twisting the strap of my bag in my hands. He only nods, glancing at the mirror. "Your brother's a lightweight?" "He's lucky you're here." Ryan smirks faintly. He's lucky a lot. We step out together. The air is cold and damp. I linger by the doorstep while he hauls Leo out of the car and half drags him inside. Leo mumbles something incoherent before collapsing on the couch. Ryan tosses a blanket over him and straightens up, shaking his head. When he turns back to me, his expression is unreadable. The porch light flickers, casting a halo over the raindrops clinging to his hair. So, his tone is light, but there's tension coiled underneath. "That little thing you said in the car." My stomach flips. "You're kidding, right?" He steps closer, water still dripping down his jaw. "I'm a playboy, Leah. Not exactly the trustworthy type." I lift my chin, even though my pulse is skidding out of control. Maybe I trust the parts of you no one else sees. His laugh is short and brittle. "Your brother will kill me." Only if he knows. That makes him stop. Just for a moment. His eyes darken, and I swear I see a flash of something he's trying hard to bury. He shakes his head, smiling without humor. "You've grown dangerous, kid." He walks away before I can answer, rain starting to fall in thin, silver lines across his shoulders. I stay frozen there, heart racing, rain soaking through my clothes. He laughs like it's funny, but if it were, why couldn't he look me in the eye? The wind howls softly, pulling at my hair. I whisper to no one. Maybe it's time to end this crush, even if it ends me. Days pass. I throw myself into classes, new friends, anything that keeps me too busy to think about him. It almost works, until I hear his laugh again, echoing down the hall. He's leaning by the lockers, all smirk and swagger. I force myself not to look. Instead, I laugh a little too brightly at something the guy next to me says. A senior named Matt, confident and loud. He's nice enough, arrogant enough, safe. Until I feel it, that gaze, heavy, burning. I turn. Ryan's eyes lock on me from across the hall. He doesn't smile, he just looks. Before I can blink, he's in front of me, his hand closing around my wrist. Not rough, but firm. "Stay away from him," I jerk back. "Why do you care?" I don't. His voice is tight. He's not your type. "Oh," my heart pounds, but my voice stays sharp. "And who is? Someone you approve of?" He exhales hard. "Anyone nice. Not some guy who just wants a quick win." I laugh, soft and bitter. "That's funny. You've boxed out 2 guys this week. What's next, Ryan? You gonna start taking attendance?" He looks like he wants to say something but can't. "Because what?" I push. "Don't tell me you're jealous." The words hang there, reckless and alive. His jaw flexes, he says nothing, and suddenly I'm tired of pretending. "You don't have to act like you care, Ryan. I get it. I'm your best friend's sister." His eyes flicker, guilt flashing quick and sharp. "And you?" My voice trembles. "You were my crush since I was 13. He goes still. Every time you came over, I prayed you'd look at me like I wasn't just Leo's sister." I swallow. I told myself I'd get over it, that I'd outgrow it. But how do you let go of someone you never had? The words spill out before I can stop them. "I just wanted one kiss. To end it. Then I'd let you go." The first drops of rain start to fall, cold and quiet against my skin. He doesn't move, doesn't smirk, doesn't tease, just stares. Like he's seeing me for the first time and doesn't know what to do with it. The rain turns violent in seconds, thunder rolling through the sky. He grabs my hand suddenly. Come on. He pulls me through the courtyard, both of us soaked before we make it to the building. We burst into an empty classroom, the echo of our breath and the storm filling the silence. I press my back against the wall, hair plastered to my face. My pulse is chaos. Forget what I said, I whisper. He's dripping wet, hair clinging to his forehead. He looks up at me, eyes burning. What if I can't? My throat goes dry. He steps closer, his voice a low rasp. You think a kiss ends feelings? It doesn't. Kissing's just part of something bigger, messier. He pauses, breathing hard, eyes searching mine. You want to know what a relationship feels like? The good, the bad, the parts that hurt? I nod, even though I shouldn't. Then I'll teach you. His voice drops lower. But this stays between us. No promises, no strings, just lessons. He reaches up, brushing his fingers along my cheek. Let's start with a kiss. And then he does. It's not gentle, it's not safe. It's everything I've ever wanted, and everything I shouldn't have. His lips are warm, unhurried, as if he's memorizing me. Every breath, every shiver, every forbidden second. When he pulls back, we're both shaking. Rain drums against the glass like applause. 3 rules, he says quietly. No telling Leo, no dating anyone else, and no falling in love. I manage a weak smile. What if I break the 3rd one? When does this end? His gaze drifts down to my mouth again. A faint smile touches his lips. No one's telling you when a relationship ends, he says, voice rough. Not even me. Outside, thunder cracks like the world agreeing, and somewhere deep inside, I know I've just stepped off a cliff I can't climb back from. Chapter 4. The Kisses. 3 days. That's how long it took for the deal to stop feeling like a game. It started with one rule-breaking night and a single kiss in the rain. A lesson, he'd called it. But rules have a way of melting when his breath ghosts against my skin and his voice dips low enough to sound like a promise. Every time he touched me, I told myself it was just curiosity, that we were only pretending. But somewhere between the stairwell and the thunder, pretending stopped feeling like protection and started feeling like the truth. This is where it all began. The moment I stopped being Leo Anderson's little sister and became Ryan Park's secret. The present hums differently now. Between lectures and library hours, between the chaos of campus life, there's a rhythm that only we know, a pulse beneath the noise. 3 days of stolen moments. The first day, he finds me outside the art building, sketchbook on my lap. He sits too close, fingers brushing mine as he leans in. Your lines are too careful, he murmurs. Loosen up. I don't like messy, I whisper. He grins, that reckless, beautiful grin. Then you're in trouble, Leah. He takes the pencil from my hand, tracing a lazy heart in the corner of the page. A secret mark. Our first. The second day, it's the stairwell. Empty, except for the echo of footsteps and the faint hum of a vending machine. I'm waiting for class when he appears, all hoodie and half smile, like he's been looking for me on purpose. Missed you, he says softly. I roll my eyes. It's been 4 hours. Longest 4 hours of my life. Before I can reply, he's pulling me against him. One hand in my hair, the other against the wall beside my head. The kiss is slower this time, deliberate. You're going to get us caught, I whisper when he pulls back. Worth it, he murmurs. And somehow I believe him. The 3rd day feels like a fever. A game we both keep playing, even though we know we'll lose. Between classes, in the library stacks, under the bleachers after dark, it's all the same gravity pulling us closer. He teases me during lectures with quick glances and half smirks. I catch him watching me when he thinks I'm not looking. Sometimes, When Leo's around, we don't talk at all. But the air between us feels thick, charged, like a secret about to explode. That night, he sneaks me into the campus rooftop. The sky is clear for once, stars scattered like confetti. "You ever think about the future?" I ask, my voice soft. He leans back on his elbows. "Not really my thing." "What about us?" He looks at me, really looks. And for a heartbeat, I think he'll say something real. Something that'll make all of this mean more. Instead, he smiles faintly. "We don't ask questions like that, remember?" It's supposed to sound teasing, but it lands like a warning. The air grows heavy again. He reaches for me, brushing a wet strand of hair from my face. "Stop thinking so much," he murmurs, pressing his lips to mine. I close my eyes and let him win, because if this is what losing feels like, I don't want to stop. The night wind cuts through the silence, cool and cruel. And in that moment, with his fingers tangled in mine, the stars above us, and the ache of something that feels too much like love, I realize that maybe this was never just a deal. Maybe it was always a disaster waiting to happen, and I'm already too far gone to stop it. Chapter 5. The Hidden Flame. It started with messages. Harmless ones at first. "You up? Meet me after class. Don't look at me when Leo's around." They came at midnight, 2 a.m., sometimes between lectures when I'd least expect it. His name would flash across my screen, and my pulse would skip every single time. Each word felt like a spark, a secret only we knew how to keep. Between classes, he'd find me in the library, pretending to ask for notes while his fingers brushed mine under the table. Once, he slipped a folded piece of paper into my bag. "Stop biting your lip when you read. You'll make me do something stupid." I smiled for the rest of the day like a fool. Every moment with him felt like walking a tightrope, one breath away from falling, but unable to step back. Nights blurred into a rhythm, lectures, study groups, lies. It was nearly midnight when Ryan snuck into my dorm room. Hoodie pulled low, that grin on his face that always made me forget what we were risking. We barely whispered hello before his lips found mine, soft, hungry, familiar. Then, a knock. "Leah?" Leo's voice. My heart stopped. Ryan's eyes went wide. "Hide," I mouthed. He slipped behind the door, silent as breath, just as Leo stepped inside. "Was someone here?" Leo asked, squinting. I shook my head too fast. "No." My voice cracked. "Why?" "You look flushed." I was, reading. Behind the door, I could feel Ryan's heartbeat, like it was thundering through the walls. Leo yawned, shrugged, and left. The door clicked shut. Ryan waited 3 full seconds before stepping out, brushing a hand through his hair. "You almost got us caught." "You're the one who showed up," I whispered, still breathless. He grinned, tilting his head, that teasing glint in his eyes. "Couldn't help it, Lily." The name caught me off guard. "Lily?" He smirked. "Short for Leah. It suits you." It shouldn't have made my heart flutter, but it did, because the way he said it was soft, tender, like a word that belonged only to him. He kissed me again. Rougher this time, desperate. As if he knew how close we were to losing everything. But secrets burn hotter the longer you hide them. By the end of the week, he started pulling away. I felt it before he said a word, in the way his texts came later, in the way his eyes didn't linger as long. When I finally cornered him on the rooftop, the wind tangled in my hair. His jaw was already set. "We need to stop," he said. "Stop what?" "This, us," his voice cracked. "You deserve better. I can't do this to Leo." I laughed softly, bitterly. "Then don't do it for him. Do it for me." "Lily?" He said my name like it hurt. I stepped closer. "You started this. You said you'd teach me what it feels like to be in a relationship. And now you want to pretend it didn't happen?" He gripped my shoulders, trembling. "You think this feels fake to me? Then what are you so afraid of? His eyes flickered down to my lips, then back to my eyes. Torn, desperate. Ryan! He kissed me instead, and for one dizzy, aching moment, the whole world disappeared. The rules, the risks, Leo's shadow. When he pulled away, he rested his forehead against mine, his voice raw. Lily, he whispered, if I stay, I'll ruin everything. I swallowed hard, then ruin it. The city blurred behind him, lights flickering like secrets trying to hide, because love wasn't supposed to feel like this. Secret, dangerous, alive. But that's exactly what it was. A hidden flame we kept feeding, knowing one day it would burn us down. Chapter 6. Cracks in the secret. I didn't plan to see him that afternoon. If I had, I would have stayed home. But fate has a cruel sense of humor. It put me there just in time to see her. Long brown hair. Perfect laugh. The kind of girl Ryan used to charm without trying. She leaned close, touched his arm. He didn't move away. And then he smiled. That easy, dangerous grin that used to be mine. The world tilted. My throat burned as I turned and walked out, forcing my heartbeat to stay steady. He wasn't mine. I had no right. But tell that to the part of me that still woke up thinking about his voice. The part that still melted every time he called me Lily. I didn't cry until I got back to my dorm. Then I broke, quietly, into my pillow. 3 days. 3 days of silence. No you up? No meet me after class. No Lily. I started deleting his texts just to stop myself from looking, but I couldn't delete his nickname, the one only he used. Because when he said it, it didn't sound like a name. It sounded like love. By the 4th night, I gave up pretending to study. The rain was hitting the windows, soft but relentless, when I heard his voice behind me. Lily? The sound of it broke me in half. I didn't turn around. Go away. He stepped closer. I could feel the warmth of him before I smelled the faint trace of his cologne. You're still mad? I'm not mad. Liar. I bit my lip. You looked pretty comfortable with her. She was just talking. You didn't seem bothered. Because I didn't care. His voice sharpened, then softened again. You think I liked it? You think I wanted anyone else to touch me when all I could think about was you? I turned then, unable to stop myself. His eyes found mine. Dark, searching, wrecked. He took a step closer. You disappeared for 3 days. You didn't text. You didn't even look at me. Do you know what that did to me, Lily? My anger faltered, replaced by the same dizzy, terrified pull that always drew me back to him. You can't call me that anymore, I whispered. Not if you're going to keep hurting me. He leaned in, voice low. Then stop making it sound so beautiful when I do. I wanted to stay angry. But how could I, when he said my name like that? Soft, reverent, like a prayer he shouldn't be saying. Ryan. He caught my hand, fingers trembling. I missed you, Lily. You don't get it. I tried to forget you, but everything I touched just reminded me of you. And then his lips were on mine again. This time, it wasn't desperate. It was broken, like he'd been waiting to breathe until this moment. When he finally pulled back, his voice was barely a whisper. I hate how much I need you. My chest ached. Then don't leave again. He smiled, small and fragile. You make that sound too easy. But secrets never stay quiet forever. Whispers started spreading. Glances turned into rumors. And soon, Leo started to hear things. That night at dinner, the tension was unbearable. Leo laughed at something on his phone. Ryan didn't even pretend to smile. I dropped my fork. Ryan reached for it at the same time. Careful, Lily. The name slipped out like muscle memory. Leo's laughter stopped cold. Since when do you call her that? The silence that followed was sharp enough to bleed. Ryan blinked, too slow, too calm. It just slipped. Leo's eyes narrowed. Weird slip. No one moved. Ryan cleared his throat, pretending to focus on his plate, but his hand was trembling under the table. I stared straight ahead, my pulse thundering in my ears. Leo looked between us, suspicion flickering behind his calm smile. And for the first time, I realized secrets don't crack. They shatter. And the sound is deafening. Chapter 7. The truth breaks free. Secrets don't stay hidden forever. They wait, patient, quiet, until the moment they decide to ruin you. It happened on a Sunday afternoon, the kind that should have been peaceful. Sunlight spilling through my dorm window, the faint hum of the city below. Ryan was sitting on my bed, legs stretched out, flipping through one of my sketchbooks. "Still drawing me, huh?" he teased, flashing that grin that always made my chest flutter. "Don't flatter yourself," I said, rolling my eyes, but smiling anyway. He chuckled. "You used to get nervous every time I came over. Now look at you. You even make fun of me." "That's called character development," I said softly. He looked up then, really looked, and something unspoken filled the air, a calm before the storm I didn't know was already coming. Because the door opened, and Leo stepped inside. The world stopped moving. For a heartbeat, Leo just stood there, staring, his eyes wide, his voice low and dangerous. "What the hell is this?" I jumped to my feet. "It's not what you think." Ryan didn't even flinch. "It's exactly what you think." The silence cracked like thunder. Leo's face hardened, disbelief twisting into fury. "You've got to be kidding me." He turned on Ryan. "You? My best friend?" Ryan stepped forward, calm but steady. "Leo?" The sound came before the motion. A sharp, violent crack. Leo's fist connected with Ryan's jaw, sending him stumbling back against the desk. "Don't Leo me," he shouted. "She's my sister." Ryan wiped the blood from his lip, eyes flashing. "And she's not a child anymore. Don't you dare talk about her like that." Leo lunged again, but I grabbed his arm, voice shaking. "Stop it, please." He shook me off, glaring at Ryan with betrayal etched across his face. "You were supposed to protect her." Ryan's chest rose and fell fast. I did. "By sneaking behind my back?" He took a step closer, voice breaking. "I'm serious about her." Leo laughed. Cold, broken. "Serious? You're a damn liar. You ruin everything you touch." "Not this time," Ryan said quietly. "Not her." Leo's voice was low, trembling with anger. "Stay away from her. I swear I'll kill you." Then he turned and slammed the door behind him. The echo rang in my chest like an aftershock. I stood frozen, the air thick with shock and guilt. Ryan's jaw was bleeding, a dark smear trailing down his chin. I reached for him, hands trembling. "Ryan." He caught my wrist gently. "Don't." Tears blurred my vision. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean for him to find out like this. I didn't mean." He stepped closer, brushing a thumb under my eye. "Hey, stop crying." "I can't." He let out a shaky laugh that wasn't really a laugh. "You always were terrible at hiding your feelings." The room fell quiet, just our breathing and the sound of my heart breaking. He cupped my face, forehead resting against mine. "He's my brother too, Lily. I can't stay." "Then I'll wait," I whispered. He smiled faintly, heartbreak softening his eyes. "You shouldn't have to." "I will anyway." Ryan exhaled, a tremor slipping through him. He pressed a kiss to my forehead, gentle, lingering, final. And then he stepped back. For a moment, neither of us moved. The sunlight hit his face, painting him in gold, beautiful, distant, untouchable. "Goodbye, Lily." He walked out before I could answer. And when the door closed, it felt like the whole world went quiet. Outside, Leo's voice echoed down the hall, angry and raw, while inside, I stood in the wreckage of what used to be a secret, the kind that tasted like love until it turned into goodbye. Because some truths don't just break free, they break you. Chapter 8. The week that changed everything. The days blurred together. Gray mornings, sleepless nights, and a phone that stayed heartbreakingly silent. A week. 7 whole days without him. I told myself I was fine, that I could survive without Ryan Park. But every time I caught my reflection, my eyes gave me away. Puffy, red, tired from crying when no one was around to see. Even Leo noticed. He tried not to. He'd ask how classes were, pretend nothing happened, but every night I'd hear him pause outside my door, like he was listening, waiting to make sure I was still breathing. On the 7th day, he finally knocked. "Leah," he said softly, peeking in, "can we talk?" I nodded, though my throat was tight. He stepped inside, scratching the back of his neck like he didn't know where to start. "I'm not good at this stuff," he muttered. "Feelings. Apologies. But..." He looked around my room, the messy desk, the half-finished notes, the untouched sketchbook, and sighed. "You haven't smiled in a week." The tears came before I could stop them. "I tried, Leo. I really did. I thought maybe it would fade, but it doesn't. He's not just..." I swallowed hard. "He's not just someone I like." Leo sat on the edge of the bed, shoulders heavy. I talked to him. My head snapped up. "You what?" He came by. Said he wanted to talk man to man. I blinked through my tears. "And you didn't punch him again?" Leo's lips twitched. "Almost did." He exhaled, rubbing his jaw. "But he said something that stuck with me." "What?" "That he's serious about you. That he knows what it means to protect you. And that if I can't trust him as a friend, I can at least trust him as the guy who loves you." My heart twisted. "He said that?" Leo nodded. "Yeah, I hated hearing it." Silence filled the room, thick with unspoken things. Regret, guilt, love. Then Leo looked at me again, eyes softer than I'd ever seen them. "I'm giving you both a chance. But you have to promise me something, Leah." I nodded. "Anything." "If he ever hurts you," Leo said quietly, "you let me kill him." A tearful laugh broke through my chest. "Deal." He sighed again, standing up. "He's in the living room." The world tilted a little. "What?" "He said he's not leaving until you talk to him. And honestly, I'm too tired to throw him out." Leo lingered at the door for a moment, his voice softer this time. "You're my sister, Leah. I just want you to be happy, even if it's with him." "Oh, Leo." Leo stood, hands in his pockets. "Go before I change my mind." And then he left, leaving me with nothing but my pounding heart and the faint sound of rain outside. Ryan was waiting. He stood when I stepped into the living room, eyes searching mine. There was a bruise still fading along his jaw, the mark of what it cost him to come back. "Hey," he said quietly. I swallowed hard. "You talked to Leo?" He nodded. "Yeah. Told him I'm serious about you. Told him I'm done running." My throat tightened. "And?" "He hates it," Ryan said, a small smile tugging at his mouth. "But he'll come around. Eventually." Silence stretched between us. Not awkward, just full of everything we hadn't said. He took a step closer. "No more secrets." I met his gaze. "No more rules?" He shook his head. "No more rules. I'm done pretending this is just a deal." Something in me cracked open then. Not pain this time, but relief. Outside, thunder rolled softly, as if the world was sighing too. He reached for my hand. "Lily," he whispered, "teach me what comes after the kiss." I smiled through my tears. "You're supposed to teach me that." "Not anymore," he said, voice low, warm, certain. "This time we learn together." And then he kissed me, not like it was a secret, not like it was a goodbye. It was real, honest, unapologetic. When we finally pulled apart, he rested his forehead against mine. All 3 rules, gone. The deal, forgotten. Only the truth remained. He tried to look annoyed, muttering, "You two better not make me regret this," before walking away. But I caught it, the smallest smile tugging at his mouth. And I knew, maybe it would take time for him to accept it. But I knew he would, because he loved me enough to let me choose my own happiness. The rain kept falling outside, steady and gentle, and for the first time it didn't sound like chaos anymore. It sounded like peace.
If you like this video, please like and subscribe.